how's it going? Phil here again, and today I'm going to show you 4 ways you can play along with what I think is the most popular chord progression in the world. Even a total beginner can play these. I kept them really simple, but they sound really cool and really interesting. So let's check it out. This chord progression, and sometimes people call it the pop song chords or the 4-chord song formula. You can hear it in a ton of different songs. One classic example is Zombie by the Cranberries, but there's an endless amount of them. The chords are E minor, C, G, and D. Maybe you know those shapes already. If not, be patient, because learning full-size chords is the hardest thing that most guitar players do when they start. And it's also the reason why so many people quit, because they try and do it right away. I've got entire videos about why you shouldn't play chords right away, and about other cool stuff like that on my channel. So let's dive right in. I'm going to show you 2 ways that are just 2-string chord shapes. One way that's 3-string chord shapes, but they're still simple. Another way that's 4-string chord shapes, but it's also really simple. So, mission number 1. Listen to this. Oops. Together. I really love how simple and minimal these little shapes are. All we're doing is taking bigger chord shapes that you're going to learn later on and getting rid of most of the notes until we end up with the only 2 notes we need to spell out the sound of these chords. So for E minor, I'm on the 7th fret of the 5th string and the 8th fret of the 2nd string. If you're using a pick, you might want to use your pick and a finger. We call that hybrid picking. Use your middle finger, your ring finger, whatever's comfortable. If you're using your fingers, then use your thumb and whatever finger you like. You can also use whatever finger you like up here. I like to do it with my ring finger. Then we're going to do the same shape, but starting on the 8th fret of the 6th string for our C major chord. So 8th fret, 6th string, 9th fret, 3rd string. Then for our G major, put your first finger on the 10th fret of the 5th string. And I like to use my pinky, but you can use your 3rd finger, on the 12th fret of the 2nd string. So the only shape we need that's 2 frets apart today. The last chord, a D major, put your first finger on the 10th fret of the 6th string, and your 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. Simple as that. Play them separately, play them together, try whatever rhythm you like, and explore, be creative. Come up with your own ways to play this, because that's one of the most amazing things we can do, is to be creative and find your own way to express yourself. So let's take a look at round 2. So this is mostly what we call power chords. Just little small chord shapes you see a lot in rock music especially, but you can play them in any style. So for the E, we're going to use the open 6th string and the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And play them together or play them separately. For the C, we're going to use the 3rd fret of the 5th string and the 5th fret of the 4th string. You can use your 3rd finger or you can use your pinky. See what's comfortable for now. Then we're going to go 1 string up towards the ceiling with the exact same shape. So 3rd fret of the 6th string and 5th fret of the 5th string for your G major. Now this time I do recommend you use your pinky. You'll see why in just a sec. Because for our last chord, for the D, we're just going to take your 1st finger, we're going to scoot it over 1 fret. See if you can do that. So your 1st finger is on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and your pinky is still on the 5th fret of the 5th string. So it sounds like this. Try it out. Again, you can easily play along with Zombie by the Cranberries with those shapes, and it sounds really great. So here's mission number 3. This time we've got 3-string chord shapes, but they're super easy on the first 3 strings. So now your E minor is just open strings. I like to play that little pattern. Now our C major, put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Simple as that. Now, I want you to play your G major with 2 fingers. You're going to put your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string and your 3rd finger right above it on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Some of you might know that as half of our full-size G major chord. That's how I want you to do it. You'll see why in a sec, because our last chord, this is the hardest shape in this entire video, but you can't really avoid it. It's really important. So we're going to learn a D major chord, which is a little triangle shape. Keep your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Add your middle finger to the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and add your 1st finger to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. You're going to have to make little adjustments to make sure that you're not blocking anything. That's just part of learning to play chords. It's a great thing you can work on. Just like that. So the whole thing together sounds like this. You can use any picking pattern. You can strum those chords as well. But it's really nice sometimes to have some small chord shapes on the treble strings, meaning the higher pitched strings. You don't always have to be playing giant full-size chord shapes. So speaking of which, let's finish off with round 4. Now these are 4-string chord shapes, but you barely need any fingers for them. This is super cool, and they sound really beautiful. So now we're going to play an E minor. It's actually an E minor 7, but don't worry about that stuff. Just put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So you're going to pick 4 strings. Again, you can strum this, you can create a different picking pattern, but we're just going to pick 4 in a row and let the last one ring. Simple as that. Now for the C major, take a look at this. You're going to put your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string and your first finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. You might have to make little adjustments to figure out the perfect spot where you don't block anything. But that's it. There's a C major. It's actually a C major 7, but doesn't matter. Now move that shape up towards the ceiling 1 string and play 4 strings, and you've got your G major. Simple as that. And the simplest one of all is our D major this time. Drag your middle finger over 1 fret to the 2nd fret of the 5th string. We're going to let everything else ring open. You can even play the 2nd fret of the 3rd string as well, if you like that sound a little better. And there you have it. 4 really simple, really interesting, cool ways to play the 4 most popular chords in the world. You can change the order of those chords as well and explore that. You're going to be running into these for the rest of your life. So I hope that helps. I hope it inspires you. Be patient with learning full-size chords and chord changes and strumming patterns. It really is the hardest thing most guitar players will do when they start. And don't let it scare you off. It just takes time and practice. So, have an amazing day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.